bit sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And this is our power hour of true crime where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons or no reasons at all.
That's right.
That's what we're doing here today.
Yes, we are.
You know what else happened today?
What happened today?
We had a feature story in our newspaper, the Messenger Inquirer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you, Freddie. It was so cute and good and loved it.
Anything that talks about us is a fucking win.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of stories about us.
This time, so as soon as I woke up, I was like, shit, it's January 2nd. It's the Messenger Inquirer day.
It's the day.
So I looked it up. And they reference us by our last name the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've been in the newspaper since my name change. And it felt weird the whole way through for me.
It was weird reading it too. I was like, who's Terry? Oh, me.
I was like, and Johnson, I was like, technically these are our husbands.
That's not us.
Right.
But it is.
Yeah.
And
it was wild.
And it was great.
It was great.
We loved it.
We're
now I'm going to
doing
go
big
buy.
things.
My dad has requested 2 copies, physical copies. Now I have to go find like 10.
I think it's amazing that we don't know where to find a newspaper.
I know. I always read that one online.
I've read every newspaper online.
Mm-hmm. Or someone would have it at work and I would read it at work. I don't know why I had to do this. Like,
you would read a newspaper at work?
Just parts. I'm nosy.
I swear it would blow me the fuck away if I'd ever walked into your office and you were just reading a newspaper.
Or anything.
Anything besides a tabloid. So
I'm nosy. I got to keep up with the times.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I got to know what's going on.
Yeah, so I don't know where they're at. Where are these newspapers at?
I'm going to go hunt and gather.
Please do.
I got to do it today.
Mr. Dwayne Maple requested a handful.
Our Papa Bears. I'm going to look like a psycho person going in there. Like
Why? It's only because your face is on the cover.
No, because I got arrested and I'm like, no one look. Like,
right?
I have to go into every gas store and buy 12.
Yes.
How much are newspapers?
I don't know where to buy them. Therefore, I don't know.
Oh.
Therefore, I don't know how much they cost.
I feel like back in the day, they were nickel.
That's what they were a nickel.
They were. I wish everything was a nickel.
Me too.
Yeah. My story's worth a lot more than that.
Ooh, I'm excited about it.
I know. Did you like that segue? I didn't know if we had anything else to talk about.
I don't know. I mean, we have other things we're going to talk about, but we're holding out for it. New Year's. Yeah, we just passed the New Year's
2025. We're recording on the 2nd.
Yes.
Of 2025.
We could have never done it on the 1st because we almost died.
Oh God, I'm still hungover, I'm pretty sure.
I am not, thankfully, but I slept like a million hours. I am 37, and I swear to you, as every motherfucking day goes by, I get more hungover every single time. I could sniff a glass of wine right now, and I'd be put out for like 2 days.
Oh yeah, they always joked with me, older people. Like,
everyone always said it.
Get older, and I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna be invincible. No.
All of my friends that were in their 50s, which was coworkers because I don't hang out with a ton of people that are in their 50s. But I remember going on a business trip when we were in the car and like they had all said, look, I promised you the hangovers get so bad. And they're like, and it's not if you just get drunk and black out, because I don't black out anymore.
Right.
You know, at the worst case scenario, some shit gets a little fuzzy at the end of the night.
Fuzzy's okay.
But I can say fuzzy nights have been 2 this entire, like all of 2024. Oh yeah. And they're like, you have 1 beer and you will be hungover. And that's in your 50s. If I'm getting kicked in the fucking bum hole at 37, I don't even want to fucking see what it's going to be like in my 50s. Have you
actually ever been kicked in your asshole? Like, that sounds like it would hurt.
No.
I don't know. You just said being kicked.
I mean, the worst thing ever is like riding your bicycle and your foot slipping off the pedal and hitting the hootie hoo. You remember that shit happening the whole time when you were young.
Karate chop?
Karate chopping the puss.
Ew, I hate when you say puss.
Well, that's what it was.
Oh,
karate chop to the taco.
What does Sam say from Watch for Deer podcast? Our friend Sam. She says, "Oh, sushi chop," with her West Virginia accent. She's like, "I got me a sushi chop." And that's, I love them.
It's true. It's true.
So yeah, I haven't been sushi chopped by a bike anytime.
Ever?
Not recently.
Do you ride a bike?
I mean, a stationary one. Like,
So then you don't ride a bike.
well, I'm still riding.
You don't.
I don't make a bike go forward.
No one on us. If somebody is cycling with the straps on their feet and somehow slides out of that strap and karate chops their fucking hootie, then
Hootie and
that's
the
insane,
blowfish.
and they need to go somewhere and never cycle again. I still ride bicycles, and I have not had that happen. I think that's
for
a
you.
child thing when
'Cause
you're fucking. I'm also, that's not my main mode of transportation.
Right.
I'm sure there's someone in San Francisco who's taken that bicycle everywhere and recently hurt the hootie hoo.
Well, you wear a cup too when you do it, so that's good. Protection. That's
You ready for your story?
before I get karate chopped. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Sunset Killer?
Somebody who would kill based off of the time of day? Or is it Sunset Strip? No. The answer is
Okay,
no,
I
but
was
I'm
like,
intrigued.
I can't give you any more, but I promise I will.
I'm like, I would be the sunrise killer, the golden hour killer.
I would be the foot grounding.
Killer? Oh, speaking of which, okay, I'm sorry, we haven't dove into the story, so we can all hold it for 1 second.
Okay.
So I'm trying to ground more because I'm a fucking hippie.
What's grounding?
Grounding is just putting your feet literally on the fucking ground.
Okay, make sure people know that.
Yes.
So it's not like your mom's like, I told you not to leave the house.
I'm just grounding everyone. Jess, you're grounded.
Jess is grounded.
Yeah. No. Well, she probably is really grounded, but no. So in the morning, I go outside and I step on the grass like barefoot, and
With
it's
your talons.
with my actual feet. Not my talons. But whenever you do it, it's supposed to be like really good for all of your shit. I don't have all the math on this.
Good for you.
But I swear to you, I stood out there today and we finally have frost. We have some snow coming in. And I stood there and I was like, I can do this. I can totally do this. And I was like, I have frostbite. And it was like 42 seconds. I swear I stood there for 42 seconds. My body wasn't even cold. But my tootsies, man, they were starting to burn.
You did like a foot cold plunge or something.
Yeah, but I really thought I'm going to have to start timing it to see how long I can actually stand outside on frozen ground.
Right.
And then I'll make an Excel sheet and then I can track my...
What do you always say? I carry my heat in my feet. You're out there, you're like, there's just like melted frost with your footprints out there, and you're like, I'm so grounded.
I'm like, dude, yes, I carry my heat.
Carry your heat in your feet.
You know, I got to keep them socks on in the wintertime. Got to keep that heat in. Can't be out walking around no socks, cold feet. Got to keep the heat in there.
Keep the heat.
Keep the heat. Okay, back to the sentence.
I made it to the title.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
That
I'm ready. I'll get
is-
you to get through the whole first page before I say something.
No, I need you to jump in.
we'll see.
Okay, anyway, his name was Oba Chandler.
Perfect.
Okay. I couldn't find a story because not shockingly, with the holiday, I did my homework for this research last night. So I tripped and fell into the story on Reddit because I was like watching the story or that new show that's about Florida with all the crazy stories. And I was like, Florida's got some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah.
And there's what's that show called? Hey, Florida Man or something?
I don't know what the show is.
Well, it's something like that. And they tell like wild stories, but they're not true crime. They're just crazy. So
Okay.
I was like, I bet I can get on Reddit and find a crazy story from Florida to tell.
What is the streaming one for this Florida show? You've given us very little information.
I know I kind of farted in the elevator and walked away.
Yeah.
Max
Okay.
or Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Either way, Google
or Amazon or Netflix.
or it's not on cable. So there's that. But I found it on Reddit. I was like, what's some stories from Florida that aren't very popular? And I'm very shocked that I'd never heard about this one. So here.
Reddit delivers.
Reddit does. Them armchair web sleuths.
Yeah, they be on it.
Yeah. So my sources, season 14, episode 11 of Forensics Files called Waterlogged. Wikipedia, of course. Fox 13, Tampa Bay, Florida State University's Law Library website. The Tampa Bay Times, a guy actually wrote a series about it and won a Pulitzer Prize.
Okay.
On this. And there's also an episode I listened to this morning of True Crime All the Time from September of 2017.
Okay.
So here we go.
Let's do it.
Okay. Oba Chandler was born on October 11th in 1946 in Cincinnati, Ohio. He was the fourth of 5 children born to Margaret Johnson and Oba Chandler Sr. Now, when he was just 10 years old in June of 1957, Oba Sr. hanged himself in the basement of their family's apartment building.
Oh.
I know.
That's sad.
I know. At the funeral, when they had like lowered his father into the grave and put the casket down, they started to throw dirt in there. And I've never heard of anybody doing this. He actually jumped in. Like
the little
10-year-old jumped in. He was having such a panic attack that he jumped in.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he was very distraught. And it was kind of all downhill from there for him. By age 14, he started his extensive criminal record. He started stealing cars. He was arrested over 20 times under the age of 18. So his mom did not have a my honor student bumper sticker on her van.
I can see that.
Yeah. His crime streak continued once he became like a legal adult, and he got worse and escalated like most of them do. He was arrested for kidnapping, burglary, possession of counterfeit cash, which how do you even do that back then, but whatever, armed robbery and shit like that. He was also caught being a peeping Tom and whacking off whilst peeping Tom.
Yeah. Shit. So I could not fathom just like walking, going on my little nightly walk, getting in my steps, some dude getting out of the shower in the window, and me just being like, oh shit.
That's something I got to peep.
I have got to double click my mouse to that.
DJ Diddles. What do they call that? Peeping Tanya? What's a girl?
I don't know.
Girls don't do that.
Right.
I've never heard.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never personally heard of a woman being like, I saw him getting out of the shower. It's like that Zest commercial when we were younger. I was like, remember that? Every girl remembers that.
And you're just like ready to go after it. I don't know.
Ready to go.
Things that I don't understand.
Add that to the list. Anyway.
Or maybe I'm going to go for a walk tonight and try to see if something arouses me.
In your bare feet. With your hot feet.
I would make it 3 steps. I'd be like, too cold.
Now, another time he and an accomplice broke into a home and robbed a married couple at gunpoint.
Oh.
So he had the other guy tie the man up. He took the woman in the other room.
No.
He made her take off all her clothes. But this is all he did. He rubbed the barrel of the gun on her stomach. He didn't sexually assault her. He just liked to see the fear. Like, I've also never heard this.
That's crazy.
It's creepy and crazy.
And terrifying.
Yeah. And after that, he was arrested for 2 different sexual assaults. So basically, he's a shitbag. Okay. There's the backstory on Oba. I'm going to shift a little bit.
And what a weird name.
Yeah.
Oba.
For
some reason, it makes me think of like Chinese candy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are those little bubbles? Little bubbles that you get in this tea. Boba.
Oba tea.
You're right.
Have you ever had that?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
What's it? Is it just like a gusher?
I don't know. I can't really explain it.
Oh, okay.
Just go suck one down.
Go suck a boba.
Because you gotta suck those. You gotta,
Go suck a boba.
You gotta suck those little bobas through that straw and try and have it choke in your throat. It's dangerous.
Okay.
So is Oba, apparently.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to talk about another family, the Rogers family.
Okay.
Hal Rogers owned and operated this huge-ass dairy farm up in Ohio with his wife, Joan Rogers, but she went by Jo. And they had 2 kids, Michelle, who was 17, and then Christy was 14, and they helped out on the farm.
Okay.
Jo and Hal, high school sweethearts, so their farm was in the same county where they grew up in. Jo had lived a quiet, sheltered life, but she got pregnant with Michelle while still in high school. So small town, people talking, and the time frame when it happened. So she and Hal got married a few months after they graduated. And by the way, her family was so mad at her and ashamed and embarrassed for her getting knocked up that they wouldn't let her wear a wedding dress or invite any of her friends or anybody to the wedding. Their honeymoon was at a motel in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You know, that's everybody's honeymoon destination.
That's a goal and a dream.
Yes. Anyway, they had to make their life work, and they were both very hardworking. Now, Hal's brother, John, lived in a trailer beside the family farm, and he worked there and was part owner.
Okay.
Later on, John's girlfriend, so Hal's brother, accused him of raping her on video.
Shit. On video?
Yeah. And then when the cops went to the trailer to investigate, they found photos of his niece, Michelle Rogers, undressed and blindfolded. It came out that he had been raping Michelle for 2 years because he threatened to kill her if she told anybody.
Joe's husband.
No. that's her brother-in-law.
Motherfucker.
John is Hal and Joe's
Got it.
daughter's uncle.
Fuck them.
Yeah, and he lived
That was
right
also
there.
hard to-
So like she can't even feel safe in her own home because her
Yeah.
rapist lives right
What
next
the fuck
door.
is up with creepy fucking uncles?
And it's I was thinking that
What the
too.
fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Keep your nasty old dirty dick in your pants
Yeah.
and keep those little angel fields clean and carefree.
Angel Fields.
Young, they're
Yes.
flower.
That is really fucked up though. So he ended up getting convicted of rape of his girlfriend, but the charges were dropped on Michelle's rapes because she didn't want to have to go testify in court.
I wonder why.
Like,
Why do we even have to?
traumatized all over again, having to go in great detail at 17 years old in this small ass town, talk about your blood uncle.
Doing it in front of them, like in
Yeah.
any capacity, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
It could even be just an assault. And
Yeah.
I say just an assault, that sounds
Yeah.
terrible, but like
I know what you mean.
where there's less trauma sexually to you
Yeah.
and you have to do it in front of, I don't understand why we can't just, do a Zoom meeting
Right? Or
and he's off camera. Like, I don't know what the fuck, but fuck that.
it takes a lot of courage to even go to the cops in the first
Yes.
place, let alone then have to unpack everything all over again.
and then do it again
And again
then
and
one
again.
more time. And then
and then have the defense try to tear down your character. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
it's fucked up. So this is in the late 80s, and Michelle finishes her junior year of high school, and she's so cute. And then so was her cheerleader, 14-year-old sister, Christy, who was about to start high school in the fall. So she was going to be a freshman. All this had just came out and happened, and it's the summer. And fun fact, Christy, the younger sister, was only 5'1", and it was the 80s, so she would tease her hair to look taller.
Oh, that's cute.
She wanted to be taller. I'm going to show you a photo, and then we'll post it too. But this is her. That's them. Joe's in the middle. You can guess which one Christy is. She's on the right.
Oh,
She teases. She's got that 80s hair.
they're all really pretty.
I know. But yeah. So any hooser. So in May of 1989, the family had saved up money and they wanted to get away, obviously. All this shit
Yeah.
happened. They we need...
They really never wanted to be there in the first place, kind of, it sounds like, because of their family being so pissed that she got pregnant.
They made the best of it, but they still needed a fucking break. So they were going to take a huge trip to Disney World in Orlando, and this was their very first vacation they've ever taken. Like, from what I read, they had never left the state of Ohio.
Oh, wow.
But, like, they lived on the farm, were so
Right.
busy, didn't have a ton of money.
Money,
So,
yeah.
Hal chose to stay at home and work the farm to make sure everything keep running. So the girls took a trip.
Oh, no. I'm
Yeah.
already sad.
Yeah.
The photo you showed me already implies who the victims are.
Yeah. And so Hal was like, you guys go, get away. I'll keep everything going here. On May 26th, the ladies took off for Florida for a week, and they stopped at the Jacksonville Zoo because they loved animals, and they took pictures with all of them again. And then they went up to Silver Springs, and they took like a glass bottom boat tour, which I've never done. It sounds cool. And then they hit up Disney for a few days, had a blast. They checked out of their hotel in Orlando early in the morning on June 1st, and then they headed up to Tampa to check into another hotel around noon that day. And this was sadly the last day that anyone would see any of the women alive. On June 4th, the bodies of Joe, Michelle, and Christy were found in the Tampa Bay. Their mouths were taped shut.
Oh.
Their hands and feet were bound. They had clothes on from the waist up only. And they were weighed down with concrete cinder blocks that were tied to ropes around their necks. And they were not blindfolded. I mentioned the lack of the blindfold because when they performed the autopsies, they all had salt water in their lungs.
So they were drowned that way?
Mm-hmm.
That is the worst thing in the fucking world.
Mm-hmm. It's bad. It's bad. And they saw everything. And from the waist down, obviously they were found in the Tampa Bay. But they couldn't tell what happened, but you can kind of guess what would happen since
They were dressed from the
waist up.
Oh, I thought you said the...
I meant like they were naked from the waist down.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it.
So,
Ugh.
yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, that's a fucking nightmare.
And the water had corroded a lot of the evidence, and it took them a week to identify. And when the family didn't come home to Ohio, Hal had put in a missing persons report, but apparently he did it 3 days after they were late to come home.
What year was this?
This was 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying... Okay.
I skipped some years after they...
Oh, no, I just wanted to understand the process of
Yeah.
phones and texts or whatever.
Oh, yeah. The investigator on the show said that Hal had seemed really cold and unemotional about all of it, and they even made him take a polygraph test, which he passed, and he had to like prove his alibi and all this stuff.
I wonder how you would even, I don't know, depending on the type of person and the year, like 89, a farmer, small town.
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine, and you just lost your entire family.
Yeah.
And they were brutally murdered.
Yeah. He was on the show, Hal was, and it seemed to me like he's just a good old country boy who's probably, I'm assuming, taught to, push emotions down. He's a farm guy. Like, in my personal opinion, that's kind of in the 80s.
Did he say anything about, like, he just went through shock? He couldn't believe it or something?
He said he tries to get through now. He tries to get through day by day. Then sometimes he's like, I have to try to get hour by hour. He's like, sometimes I'm like, how am I going to make it through the next 5 minutes?
I bet.
And then they're like up his ass, like, your brother did this to them. And apparently, I didn't put it in here, but he had bailed his brother out because he had made a promise to his parents or something that he would always look out for his brother. So he actually...
Even after he raped his daughter? The fuck?
And so
you know the way I'd look after my brother?
Yeah.
With a gun in it to his head?
It would be...
The fuck?
Yeah. So that looked bad. And then they left town. But apparently Hal didn't like cooking for himself. So he would go to dinner at this diner, sometimes. So he went 2 times the day. Like, there's no way he could have done it. He wasn't even he was seen all over town.
Thank goodness that he never learned how to cook well.
Right.
At least he had an alibi.
Yeah. So like I said, he had an alibi. And after the story was released to the media about all this, this was on June 8th, the manager at the hotel in Tampa said the family had checked in on June 1st and their room had looked like they hadn't been there. Like, they dropped their stuff, but they never checked out. So when they went, dental records provided by Hal solidified the fact that his whole family was murdered, as well as fingerprints in the hotel room. Michelle had called her boyfriend from the hotel room on June 1st, and then another call was made to Busch Gardens. So that was when they had used landlines, so they actually looked through the records. They found some papers in their hotel room, their luggage, all their film from their camera, so they were able to put like a timeline together. And the sad part is the last 3 pictures on the last roll of film were taken from the balcony outside. One was of Michelle on the balcony, and from the sunset and everything, they could tell what day it was took, and the time was 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that kind of helped them a little bit since no one had seen them since noon.
Right.
They found their family car parked a mile away at a boat ramp that was open to the public. And then when they searched the car, they found some brochures, their room keys, some stationery from the Days Inn where they were staying with some writing on it. And the stationery had directions on it. And at the bottom, it said blue with white. And then they figured out that the blue with white was written in Joe's handwriting. On one of the brochures, there were directions to that boat ramp where their car was found, but it was none of their handwritings at all. And I need to point something out real quick. On May 15th, at the beach close by where their car was found, a woman had reported a rape. She had taken a...
So like 2 weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She had taken a shower and then went to the police, so they didn't get any evidence from it, but she still at least went and reported it. She was able to give them a sketch, like a sketch artist, a description, and as well as tell them she had been taken out on a blue and white boat. So that's why they figured they're so close. The timelines are so close. It's got to be a boat that she wrote blue and white on there. This woman was down visiting from Canada on vacation with her friend, and she had met a man who said that he owned a boat and could take them on a sunset cruise.
Now this starts to sound like I feel like I saw the show or I saw something about this because I remember a boat.
Yeah.
And them writing it down. Mm-hmm. Deja vu.
Yeah.
I'm now painting this picture based off of whatever show I watched. Right. Already created said picture.
Oh, yeah. There's a bunch. Now, this Canadian tourist said that the guy had approached both of them, and her friend was like, no, I'm okay. And she was like, well, I'm going to go. The man drove a dark colored SUV. He was a little bit older. He seemed nice and trustworthy and polite. And he said his name was Dave Posno, which of all the fake names, that's
Posno?
Very specific. Like John Smith, like Dave Posno. Now, when they got out there and they were on the boat and they were out of sight, this guy basically pounced on her. She's like, no, please stop. She said, I'm a virgin. And he got really happy about that in a gross, nasty fucking way. Sadly, and I'm not going to go into all the details about what he was saying to her, but basically he was telling her he was going to do to her the exact same thing that happened to how they found the bodies of Michelle and Joe and Christy. So he raped her, and he's like, if you scream, I'm going to do all these things. Then he pulls up close enough, and he told her to jump out and swim to shore. So she survived. When she saw it on the news about the murders, she called in and she was like, that has to be the same man. It's the same boat. And this helped him because they connected all those dots. And when the survivor told him that he had only removed her clothes from the waist down,
oh man,
they put the nail in the coffin.
How did this guy even think he could get away with this? Number one, how did you think you were going to get away with it?
I don't know.
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that she had written like white and blue on the piece of paper in the car and had like some level of detail on there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But also just you're trapping people on a boat.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been worried about a boat.
Yeah.
In all of my experiences with boats.
Yeah.
Until you hear stuff like this where you're like, holy shit.
Right.
Like now you need to really quadruple check the people that are renting out, because it's just people with boats in Florida. You know what I mean? I'll do a sunset cruise. Maybe they have an LLC. Maybe they don't have a legal name.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. And he was telling her, and she's on vacation from fucking Canada. And he also told her, well, if you jump out, 'cause she's like, she was going to jump out. And he's like, there's sharks all over this water. You can jump out if you want to, but they'll get you before you make it. And so, of course, she's like, oh my God. Like, so.
I'd probably test with the shark over the dude.
Oof. I don't know what the fuck I would do. I feel so bad that's how she lost her, like.
Not to mention, I don't.
Everything
I'm
about
not,
it
yeah, and I'm not trying to like be gross in this one, but if she did lose her virginity, there's blood. And that would have been the thing that would have been terrifying as well, jumping into what he is saying is shark-infested waters.
Yeah.
I'm so happy she reported it.
Yeah. And of course, there are hundreds of boats that are blue and white.
Yeah.
So they had
our boat's blue and white.
Right? I was thinking that when I was tired. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the color of theirs.
Yes.
Yeah. And then like they had hundreds of suspects to rule out because it was a public boat ramp, blue and white, like it's very common. And they kept following leads and following them, but they were coming up short every time. And the case went cold for about 3 years. And the cops were still working on it the whole time. They were holding press conferences and trying to solve it. They started begging the public for help and added a $25,000 reward that would lead to a conviction. This case wasn't on an episode. I didn't even remember when I put the shirt on. It was on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on TV. So it wasn't just sitting on a shelf. They were trying. When that didn't lead to anything, they decided to release a photo of the handwriting of the directions on that brochure publicly. And they even put up 5 billboards in Tampa with hoping that somebody would see it. And which is one of the first times that the police actually used that in a case.
Wow.
Yeah. And luckily, a woman came forward and said her neighbor, who was also an unlicensed contractor, had done some work on her house. Now, the handwriting, as you saw, like she saw the photo and the handwriting and she was like, And because his handwriting was so unusual, he would like write random T's, like capital T's and all lowercase, and just certain things, like he'd write all his Y's different. It kind of stuck out a little bit. Yeah.
Weird to have a special handwriting.
To the point where she remembered it.
Yeah. And a guy of all people.
Yeah.
That's usually like garbage handwriting anyway. But I would say I don't know. I was going to say, I feel like all of our handwritings look like all women within a same age. Like all of our handwriting looks the same. Mine looks similar to my sister's. Yours looks just like my sister's. My sister's is like my mom's. And then my dad writes the same way that Travis does. And it's like, what is this? I don't know.
Yeah, she said on the show, the neighbor woman that called in, that he had seemed sketchy and he wouldn't look her in the eye when he talked to her. And she's like, well, his name's Oba Chandler. So when she saw the billboard in the sketch from the rape in May, she was like, that's got to be that guy. She also told the cops that he had a blue and white boat and he drove a dark colored SUV.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right? His house had a canal that went right to the Tampa Bay, and he had moved away out of nowhere right after the murders got released on TV. Like, and sold his boat.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So when the cops compared the handwriting to that contract that she brought in, he had also left a palm print. And now that they had a name and he had been arrested 3,000 million times, that they had his print. So they confirmed that it was him.
Motherfuck, man.
I know. On September 24th in 1992, they tracked him down and arrested him. Yay.
Yay.
They questioned him for hours, and the only thing that he would say, he didn't even make a face or anything. Like, they said he was calm when he arrested him. They walked in, he just goes, what are you charging me for? And they said it, and he didn't say a word after that. And they grilled him for hours and hours, and he just said, I want a lawyer.
Do you have a photo of him?
Mm-hmm.
Yay, because I would like to see.
Yeah.
I want to see what this Boba Chandler is.
Boba Chandler.
Boba Chandler.
Hang
It
on.
also makes me want one of those teas real bad.
This is a picture of him later in life.
Oh, this motherfucker looks like a fucking skis ball.
Mm-hmm.
He looks so bleh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Ugh, is right. They were only able to charge him with the sexual assault of the Canadian tourist because they didn't have enough evidence yet that they knew they were going to get a conviction.
Don't make me break something in here. Wonder Boy will not be happy. You better tell me he gets charged for everything.
Oba was 46 years old and married at the time, by the way. He had 8 children.
Shut the fuck up.
By several different women.
So people be letting him fuck him?
Yes.
Raw dogging?
Apparently 8 times at least.
Procreating?
8 times.
Sowing them seeds. Watering that dirt.
Oh, keep going.
I'm not happy about that.
No.
I feel like there's something's up in Pirates. I don't know. I'm fidgety about it. I just don't understand.
I'm fidgety about it.
I'm fidgety about that. I think the thing that like just gets me going in the confusion train is just like this dude was a rapist and a murderer
and not a good person at all.
And a banging ass rap sheet.
Yeah.
And he is having tons of sex and babies.
At least 8 times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't just a sharp shooter all 8 times. I'm just like the women had to say, you know what? No need for a condom. And he's just over. I have. Don't pull out. I don't know. I understand babies happen by accident.
Yes.
But that's a lot of what doesn't feel like accidentes.
Yeah.
And so these women had, like, did he have pretty eyes? And they wanted their baby to have pretty eyes? Was he tall?
Was he like, so I got a boat? Like,
was he like, oh yeah, do you want to see? Oh, I left my bank statement right here. Look at that 1.2 mil. Like I
left my bank statement.
I don't know.
Out here.
I don't know. I just don't get it.
I don't
understand how
I
you
don't
can
understand
do that.
either.
I know. And I'm gonna take a drink of water that has ice in it. I'm sorry, everyone. ASMR.
Shake it up.
Get her in there.
Are you gonna do it? That's not ASMR when you can't hear it. It's not A or S or M or R. There we go.
Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic imploring your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
where we are right now,
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
Your podcast can go further when you have a Wonder Boy.
Hit up Drew today at WBOYmedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding.
When the police interviewed Oba's family, one of his 37 daughters that didn't live with him said that he'd come by her house out of nowhere in 1989. And he was like, oh, I'm on the run from the law because I'd raped a woman and killed 3 others.
He said it to his daughter?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick up this chair and I'm going to throw it out that window.
Here's the thing. I'm not shaming anyone, but I wish she would have fucking said something. And I don't know. I wasn't in her shoes, so I don't know why she didn't, but she didn't. Also, her husband was there and heard it too. And then so 2 people heard it, didn't say anything.
Okay, I love my dad. Dwayne Maple gives great bear hugs, and he's a funny fella.
Oh, he is.
But if he came up to me and told me that shit,
yeah,
I'd be looking at it for, you know what? We say this shit with a grain of salt. Who are we? I'm not on high and mighty. I'm not on any fucking pedestal. But to think that anyone in my family was actively murdering people.
Right. Especially as a woman to woman.
As a woman to woman
that doesn't matter
experience.
the gender.
Right.
Saying that it'd be even worse.
Yes. It'd be one thing if Heather came to me and she was like, I killed this person that I have hated forever and they were trying to ruin me. But like, it's one thing if it's like, oh,
yeah.
But, and I'm still not saying that anyone should confide in me if they commit murder. I have so much anxiety over whether or not I remember to like turn off my hair like my hair straightener. If you think that I can then hold in a murder, I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot. I'll lose my hair. My hair will fall out.
You'll molt. Isn't that what they're called when birds lose their feathers? You molt.
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 Isn't it molt? Not malt. It's not
malt's like a shake.
It's not. It's not a little one of those little
Whopper.
Whoppers. Yeah.
You're talking about a lot of circular foods today.
I don't know.
Boba tea, Whoppers.
You said malt.
I know.
That's the only malt candy I can think of. Molt.
That's hard to say.
For you.
Yeah. Shut up. Let me tell you a story.
Okay. Sorry.
They were able to indict him for their murders, and 2 years later, they went to trial so the state could collect more evidence. So they were like, we're going to indict you. They took it to a grand jury. Like, what do you think? And they were like,
what year is
go.
this?
Now this is...
Because I'm trying to see how long his daughter had to have known about it.
She knew about it for 3 years.
Okay, that's terrible.
Yeah, because he came to her in 1989 when it happened.
And she wasn't on the video that you saw, the show?
No, she wasn't on the
Because I'm curious what she would have said.
No.
Like, what if she was like, I just loved him, or I was so scared, or I don't know. There has to be a reason. Or people can just fucking suck.
Two of his daughters went public when I was going through all this research. One of them thought he did do it. One of them thought he didn't. So there was like turmoil in the family. So, okay. While they were investigating, they found some recorded boat call logs made during both of the rape and the murders, the rape of the Canadian woman and then the murders of Joe, Michelle, and Christy. So he had called into shore and stuff while he was on his boat, and they have to log that stuff. So there was record that he was on the water too. Like, it's all the evidence piled up.
Wow, I've never had to call in to, I don't even know, do we have a radio on us? I've never seen us go, is that like a saltwater thing?
I don't know.
I need to Google that later. Where's these boat logs? Why aren't we on a boat log? I want to be logging.
You're going to text Travis and be like, I feel like we're less than because we don't have a CB on our boat.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck did we get this for? And I'm like, I just want to be like, breaker 19.
What was your boat log? What would your name be? Like, you know how they say this is like Candy Cane or whatever?
I have no idea. Well, it's your boat name.
I always would joke and say Big Bertha. My grandma had a CB in her house.
I think we'd be Thelma
when she was alive. And I would say Big Bertha. And then I would get yelled at by truckers to get off of the CB. And my grandma, because I wasn't supposed to play on it. When they went to trial, Oba was like, yeah, well, I met him and gave him directions, but it was a bad coincidence. All of these were bad coincidences, which is, you obviously know is horseshit.
I want to punch him in the throat.
When they asked him, like, well, why'd you call to shore then? And he was like, well, I was out late fishing on those days. Those are my fishing days. And my gas line had a leak, so I was trying to fix them with duct tape, and I wanted him to help me.
Gas line and duct tape sounds safe.
Yeah, he said when the prosecution brought a boat expert in, he was like, the boat expert was like, the gas would have eaten through duct tape, you fucking moron.
That's what I'm saying. I was like that.
Like, it's not
1 + 1 does not equal 62.
That's right. And this trial was huge and had a ton of media coverage. One of the jurors said that he would just sit there and like burn a hole through them and just smirk and stare, like it was like haunting, the fact that he would just sit there and just smirk at them, at the jurors. Just stare at them and smirk.
This bitch.
Like when he would tell a lie and then just look over and be like.
So he just wanted to get it in the butt? He was like, I want you to rail me with a good prison sentence. Like, if you're making jurors feel uncomfortable, like, unless you're those crazy face tattooed ones that, like, you're just scared because they're in the room and you can feel and sense their anger.
Yeah. Yeah. They said they didn't. Ugh. Yeah. And then the prosecution brought in their star witness, the 24-year-old rape survivor.
Way to go, girl.
I know. Like, go for her for doing that. That couldn't have been easy. Like, no. At all. And she, like I said, she lost her virginity in that awful way while she was on vacation with her friend. And then she had to face him and relive every single detail.
But on top of the biggest media coverage ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh.
And I read some of her attack notes, and she had to go into such detail. Basically,
you have to explain every single thing.
He did everything to her physically that he possibly could. And that's like going from a virgin to, anyway.
Yeah.
In front of all those people. She had to say all that.
Oh my God, I thought you meant like he raped her.
No.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Sorry. Yeah.
And then one of the hotel housekeepers testified that she actually passed Oba Chandler at the hotel the day the family went missing. Finally, on November 4th, 1994, Oba was found guilty of all 3 murders and he got sentenced to the death penalty.
Okay.
Yes. He kept claiming his innocence for the murders and appealing like a little bitch baby. He kept just trying and they're like, no.
Not only did he do the unthinkable to a mother and her daughters on their vacation.
While they all watched the other one.
Yes. Then he drowned them.
Mm-hmm.
How terrifying.
Threw them over with ropes around their necks and blocks attached. Like, awful.
Awful. Awful.
So,
we all saw that with Aladdin. And it was scary.
what?
The movie Aladdin. He was thrown overboard with...
Yes.
And you saw how terrifying. Now, I wasn't making that as a joke. Like, how fucking terrifying. Especially if it's really, like... If that was the ocean...
Yeah. They're
who knows when, though, it would have... I don't know how they found the bodies in general.
They floated up. The gases...
I know, but with concrete around the top portion.
They went into this big scientific thing on forensic files, as they do. That goes way over my head. But basically, the gases in the body as they were decomposing.
I just wonder how deep it was. Like, hopefully, maybe they could have died when the pressure... Like, that's what I'm saying on how deep the water was. Because the pressure at some point could have killed him faster.
Yeah.
Like, just hoping.
Yeah.
Hoping that they choked. Maybe it strangled him faster than this. I don't know.
They
it's
had
so
salt
horrible.
water in their lungs, so...
Right, you still would have ingested it.
Oh yeah. But they even had to bring in experts on the bay because they were found, like, the bodies had shifted. Like, they had to bring in experts on the currents because of where they were. So they were carried. It was very...
Oh, it sounds so horrible.
I know. So after all those appeals, they sent him to wait to die. And then obviously his wife filed for divorce. The court had barred him from contact with his youngest daughter, and they wouldn't even let him have pictures of Oba's youngest daughter. He didn't have one single visitor, and he was on death row for 11 years. Not a one. Solid, good for him.
So none of his kids.
Nope. And
none of the women.
Nope.
Good.
Yeah. They said they called him the loneliest prisoner on death row.
Good.
That's what I said.
Good.
And he had a bunch of health issues, too, so karma got his ass for sure. On October 10th, 2011, Oba Chandler's death warrant was finally signed in, and the execution was scheduled for November 15th. You know I'm going to talk about his last meal.
Oh, I didn't know if he had a health issue and died before. Okay.
No.
What was his last meal?
You would never guess it, so I'm just going to tell you. He had half of a peanut butter sandwich, I wrote salmi sandwiches, but it's salami. You can tell I did this at midnight.
Tasty salami sandwiches.
Salami. Yeah, salami sandwiches on white bread and black coffee.
No.
No.
No to any of that.
No. And at 4:28 that day, Oba Chandler, the Sunset Killer, was pronounced dead by lethal injection, and Hal Rogers, the dad, was there to witness it.
I would hope.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't hope. Whatever works for Hal.
And the fact that Hal was there, and then... You know, they always give him a chance to say, I'm sorry, or I did it, their last words. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't even say them out loud. He wrote on a piece of paper and had somebody read it, "You are killing a innocent man today." And then his name at the bottom.
Because he couldn't even, he didn't want his last words to man. To be a lie.
Yeah. You are killing a innocent man. Not even an innocent. A innocent. It's like it hurt me to type that.
Like, stupid fuck.
Yeah. Joe, Michelle, and Christy were buried back in their hometown in Ohio on June 13th, 1989, and they had the police there outside. There's over 300 people there at their service, and they had to have the police to keep the media out of their service. Now, normally I'd be done, but you know, this asshole did something this terrible. This wasn't the first time.
Right. That's why I was like, okay.
Yeah, no way.
I wasn't sure what the name. I was like, I didn't know that you get a name for a one-time event.
Yeah, well, they gave it to him because the girl, his little sunset cruise ruse was the one, like, he was like, do you want to see the sunset? I can take you on my boat.
Oh my gosh, man. And then every fucking sunset?
Yep.
Like, how hard that would be then to, like, if that was the point, was to see the sunset. Mm-hmm. Then every time I would think of the sunset.
Yeah.
Or not think of it, because sometimes I think about it, but for the most part, I just see it.
You were standing outside in the grass barefoot this morning. You think about sunsets more often than most.
This is true.
Yeah. They're pretty. I give you that.
They're so pretty.
Yeah. So on February 25th in 2014, DNA linked Oba Chandler to a cold case from Coral Springs, Florida.
Oh, shit.
Back on November 27th, 1990 in Coral Springs, 20-year-old, I'm going to butcher her name and I'm so sorry, Evelise Barrios Begarissi, that right there.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah. Was found raped and strangled.
Oh,
She was found naked with ligature marks on her wrists and legs, and brown tape was stuck in her hair. She had worked at the Sawgrass Mills Mall, and her car was found in the parking lot with a tire slash. So Oba had stalked her for 2 days, slashed her tires, and then showed up like, oh, your tires are flat. Let me help you out. Fuck her.
That is some shit. I'm sorry. Quick interruption.
Yeah.
Fucking shit. I don't think we've covered a ton of stories, but my gosh, I don't think I've ever even thought of
like
a hero complex guy coming in to help save you when you have.
And he did it.
Right.
Fuck
I'm just
her.
wondering.
And she's 20 and he had he was very charming, they said. Like the Canadian girl was like, he was kind of an older dude than me. He seemed nice, trustworthy. Like, I figured I could trust. So he was very good at being a chameleon, apparently.
Well, just as a heads up for women, if they ever see their tires slashed, the second you see those tires slashed, go back inside.
Yeah, no.
Go back inside and call somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't. So she was reporting missing by her husband when she didn't come home. And 3 hours later, 2 guys were coming back from a fishing trip. They found her under a mailbox in a neighborhood. He just dumped her. Asshole. DNA was able to confirm it was his stupid ass fault, Oba Chandler's, and then they closed that case. And to this day, authorities in Florida are still putting his DNA against cold cases and stuff, like to this day, because they know he's done other things than that.
What a terrible yeah, usually your first rodeo isn't killing a family of 3.
He kept escalating from the time he was peeping and whacking or whatever he was doing.
I'm wondering too what else he could have done to have 3 against 1, right? But he's a big guy and there's a lot of fear in that automatically. But it's a boat. I feel like there may have been, I wonder if he did things at gunpoint or what
I don't know. That part I don't know. And then you think about too, Michelle had just survived her uncle raping her for 2 years, goes out of town to take her mind off of it. And then that happens and she has to watch. They said she was protective of her little sister. Well, that's why they figured out, because she didn't want her little sister to go through what she went through.
Right.
So she's trying to protect her little sister. And then as a mother, you have to sit there and watch that.
Oh my gosh.
And he wanted to make sure they saw it. This one made me very sad.
This one is bullshit.
Yeah, it is. But that is the sad story of the murders of Joe, Michelle, and Christy Rogers by Oba Chandler, the Sunset Killer. And
fuck that story.
Now
fuck
I'm bummed
Oba.
out. Now I'm bummed out.
Yeah.
Fuck Oba.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shitstorm.
It is. Yeah.
That's very sad.
I know.
It's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to glean from that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Everyone be careful, I guess.
Just be careful.
I don't know.
I'm sure they felt like they were being careful.
That's true.
That's what sucks. That's what I wonder too, if it was did he have brochures or did he just meet him somewhere and was like, oh, I also have a boat and I'll just obviously he was promoting that he did sunset cruises, right?
Yeah, he was unlicensed, but they said that his MO was that he would meet them, he would just see a woman and then make sure he got in their path. So he probably happened to be at their hotel or something because it was a mile from there, just prowling.
Yeah.
And then met them.
Yeah, unless there's a brochure.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's my confirmation. As long as there's a brochure.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't be a website because not everybody wants a fucking website. But I'm curious on that. I don't think I personally would get on a stranger's boat.
Yeah. I mean, it's also 89.
Yeah.
Time was different. Some people didn't lock doors. We used to ride our bikes all over town without calling.
And if it seemed like an older, nice guy that reminded me of my dad or something, yeah, I'd be like, sure, whatever.
Definitely.
But the second you get out on water,
yeah,
it's so different. Once you're away from shore and you realize that you can or cannot physically get back to shore from where you're at.
Yeah.
There's automatically a sense of fear.
Yeah.
At least I like to keep it right in my pocket whenever we're deep out in water. Because it's if something happens, there's no escaping.
Yeah.
I wanted to, and the other part too is he didn't have, this is me overthinking shit, a life raft or a life, what are those? Life jackets.
Yeah.
Because if you take those, you have to wear them.
Yeah.
if it was like an actual licensed experience.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So like you have to have enough life jackets on the boat, blah, blah.
Yeah. The 80s.
I know. I don't know.
I don't know either. That's my only thing I can
Well,
think
that's like
of.
I don't think that's a law of any watercraft, by the way. So I think that's been the law forever, but it doesn't matter in this particular case because they weren't getting stopped by like the Coast Guard or anything.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I hate that.
I hate it too.
I'm happy that justice was served.
Yeah. Bye. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, that's kind of it, right?
No, yeah. Well, on a lighter note, rate, review, subscribe. To
All that jazz.
all the things.
Great story, Heather. Or great job telling a shitty story.
I know. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Great job bumming the fuck out of all of us
Right.
today.
I do what I can.
And you do it well.
Thanks.
Remember, y'all, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
We love you.
Bye.
This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, A Couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I bet that